Hello everyone and welcome to today's Shocktober. This one is going to be an interesting one because it is the 2017 version of The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise. Now, I have not seen all of the old classic monster movies like Dracula, Frankenstein, any of that stuff. I haven't seen like any of them. So that's one thing I'll probably watch some of these for Shocktober, but I loved the Brendan Fraser Mummy. I liked the second Brendan Fraser Mummy, but I didn't see the third Brendan Fraser Mummy. But I really love the first one. I love the idea of it. And when they announced, like, oh, we're going to do this new universe, I'm like, oh, well, that sounds terrible. But, like, the trailers the trailers for The Mummy kept coming out, I was like, okay, this looks dumb. Maybe it'll be dumb enough to be fun. Now let's read the synopsis here right off of Letterboxd. And right away, welcome to a new world of gods and monsters, which I feel like they say 100 times in the movie. Like, hey, get it, guys? Universe, huh? And the biggest problem with this movie is right away it starts with the Universal logo and then immediately goes to a Dark Universe logo. Like, let's name the universe before we even get one movie off the ground. And I will be surprised if they make another one. But the synopsis reads, though safely entombed in a crypt deep beneath the unforgiving desert, an ancient queen whose identity was unjustly taken from her is awakened in our current day, bringing with her malevolence grown over millennia and terrors that defy human comprehension. So yeah, it's kind of similar to what you know of The Mummy. It's they find the tomb. They unleash her on accident, and then she starts fucking wreaking havoc. Okay, so let's start with some positives. Tom Cruise is fine. Tom Cruise is always a fine actor. He gets to run in this movie, so you know he's happy. But he's definitely shown his age in this one. I mean, the dude is 55 playing like 30-year-olds, and it's just not going to work anymore. And he's actually partnered up with a very funny comedic actor is like his sidekick, is Jake Johnson, who you might know him from New Girl, and he was in Jurassic World. He was one of the guys on the computers, the guy with all the dinosaur toys on his desk and wearing the Jurassic Park shirt. He's a really funny actor. I always really enjoy him in everything. Russell Crowe is in it as Dr. Jekyll, so they're already building their universe, which is kind of the biggest problem with this movie. It's the same problem I had with Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is we're going to spend way more time building the universe than like worrying about the story we're telling, and it just doesn't work. This movie is a complete mess. There are some enjoyable moments, like I gave it a 2 out of 5, but when I was watching it, I never felt like bored. I was never like, ugh, just let it be over. Like, it's entertaining throughout the movie, but it's not really fun. It's not really interesting. And I do like how Tom Cruise plays this character who's kind of an asshole. Like, he's very selfish and, like, he's a thief. And they stumble upon this tomb, and then he gets roped up with this girl who they implied that he slept with and then stole her research and left. And that was how he was led to the tomb, which they're just looking for treasure, him and Jake Johnson. This movie does play in the realm of horror a little more than I expected. So, like, for example, when they find the tomb and they're bringing it back on the plane, like the plane scene, I'm sure you've seen in the trailers, actually kind of plays like a horror film. Like, Jake Johnson gets possessed by her and he kills one of the soldiers, and then Tom Cruise is forced to kill him. And then we get this horrible ripoff of American Werewolf in London, and he comes back as a ghost and is trying to warn him and everything. And it's just like, this is just a clear ripoff. Like, why are you doing this? You didn't need to do this. And Sophia, how do you say her last name? Botella? Sophia Botella. She's good as the Mummy. Like, she looks cool. I like the idea they're going with her. But she's not in the movie very much. It just feels awkward. Like, the movie's called The Mummy, but there's only like 2 or 3 encounters with her, and that's it. Like, most of the movie, she's in the tomb or like reviving herself, and you don't get any like these big grandiose action scenes with her. You get the one in London where she's, you know, having the everything, all the glass break and everything turned to sand and stuff, and Tom Cruise is running because he's got to be running, and that's like an okay scene. And you know, kind of the end confrontation with her is a little underwhelming, but Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll, like that stuff was actually kind of interesting, like the way they introduce his character and what he has to do. So he's kind of leading this paranormal group of like, hey, we try to hunt, trap, contain, and destroy these kind of evils, and that's basically your shield for the Avengers, which the Avengers will be the Mummy, Dracula, and all this stuff, which I don't know, what do you call the movie when you bring them all together? Is that just Monster Squad? Is that what we're coming up to? Yeah, so Dr. Jekyll, they kind of build him up as like, you see he wears this glove and he keeps injecting shit into the back of his hand to keep him from transforming, and you know he's going to transform in this movie. Like, he doesn't get his injection because Tom Cruise is an idiot. And the transformation scene, like, they have this room set up where, you know, they can shut the door and it bars, and basically he just has to chill until it's over. But Tom Cruise ends up getting locked in the room with him, and I'm like, oh, he's going to transform into like the fucking Hulk or something, the way he has this room kind of set up. But then he just, like, his skin just turns gray and he talks a little different. And that's it. I mean, he is stronger. Like, they show him just like chucking Tom Cruise across the room with ease and stuff like that. There is like a cool moment I like where to get into the room, it's like a hand scanner, and, you know, he puts his hand on it and it reads Jekyll, and, you know, access granted. He walks in, and then later during the transformation, Tom Cruise is trying to escape, and he puts his hand on this. He knocks out hide and puts his hand on the scanner, and it reads hide, like access denied or whatever. So the idea that when he transforms, like, his like fingerprints and stuff change too, like he literally becomes a different person. And Hyde is kind of like convincing him, like, hey, you can help me, I can help you, we can work together and stuff like this. That honestly, I liked Russell Crowe as Jekyll and Hyde. Like, I thought he was a good choice and it was good, but that stuff just really holds back the movie. It distracts from the story that we need to tell and is more about setting up this universe. Like, you think back to Iron Man, like, they just made an Iron Man movie, and then at the very end, after the credits, Nick Fury is there and talks about the Avengers, and that's it. That's the only world building there was in that movie. And then they were able to build on that. And the Incredible Hulk is the same thing. Like, the only thing you get is there's like Stark Industry logos throughout the movie, and then at the end, Tony Stark shows up, and that's all they do. And all these other movies that are trying to follow that pattern, it's just, no, we got to seed it early. Like in Spider-Man 2, we got to show all the equipment that'll be Dr. Octopus and this and that. And then The Mummy, we have to have Jekyll and Hyde and introduce our shield comparison, like right in the beginning of the movie. And it's just too much. Like, they're overhauling it and it's unnecessary. And that's why they're going to fail. And the movie, you know, it made more money overseas. Like, it did fine, but I guess the marketing for this movie was insane. So there is a chance they still didn't make money. So we'll see if they even get around to another one. And I could see a situation where when they finally get to bringing them together, that Tom Cruise is recast, because I think I heard that he was kind of difficult to work with. He likes to take control of the movie. So I don't know if they would let that fly once you get all these big A-list actors in one movie. Because, like, what, you got Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem, Russell Crowe. Like, these are all the people they've announced for these movies, and I will be surprised if they even get to them. But I mean, overall, The Mummy, it's okay. Like, you can watch it and not be completely fucking bored and hateful, but it's not like watching the trailers. I got the same feeling watching like the Independence Day sequel, like, oh, this is probably going to be bad, but it looks so ridiculous that it might be fun. And then the movie doesn't even meet those expectations. So I kind of got the same thing with this one. So it's kind of like you can see it or you can just ignore it and it'll be the same no matter what. But you know, if you're into these kind of movies, I would say go ahead and check it out. Like, you could do much worse. There's some okay moments, like Tom Cruise is okay in it. Jake Johnson actually doesn't get enough screen time for how funny of an actor he is, and I definitely feel like he was ad-libbing some of his lines, but Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about The Mummy. Kind of just unimpressive. But that's going to be it for today's Shocktober episode. Be sure to check back tomorrow when we talk about our next movie review, and I think it's going to be a good one. So be sure to come back for that one.